What's up, Nerd Dads? Zech Keenan here today to tell you about all the cool movies coming out in April 2019. We got Avengers, obviously, we got Shazam, Hellboy, and a little special surprise called The Curse of La Llorona. Anyway, I'm sure you guys got families and diapers and all that stuff to get back to, so I won't take up too much of your time. Let's get into it.
Daily bats, I choose you as champion. Say my name so my powers will become yours. Shazam.
Wait, for real? Okay, so our first movie coming out is Shazam. Comes out April 5th. It is directed by David F. Sandberg, whom you might recall done similar works called Annabelle Creation and Lights Out, both of which are not superhero movies, but are good movies, and I am really excited to see what this guy does with a superhero film. It stars Zachary Levi as our protagonist. You might recall him in shows like Shazam, or Chuck, and he was also in the movie Tangled. You might have heard his voice many a time if you have daughters or sons that like Tangled and animated movies. He did a good job in both those. It also stars Jimon Henson, who I actually honestly remember him mostly from Gladiator, when he's the slave that helps out Russell Crowe's character, and he bends down and grabs the dirt and he's like, "I'll join you, my friend." Not yet. That's how I remember him. Anyway, he's gonna be in it. He's looks like he might be playing like the original Shazam, and he gives Zachary Levi his superpowers. And it also stars Mark Strong as our antagonist, whom you might recall from him doing similar works like Deep State and done some older films, done a lot of films, blanking on the names of said films, but it looks like it's gonna be good. It's basically about a little orphan boy that gets superpowers. So he says the word Shazam, and all of a sudden, he's a big guy that's got like these really puffy arms. The suit looks terrible. So I really am kind of still excited to see the movie, just because I love Zachary Levi. I like the character of Shazam, and it looks like it's gonna be like a really fun, it looks like a live action cartoon, honestly, and yeah, I'm really excited to check it out. So April 5th, bring your fam. If you're into that sort of thing, this could be another good DC movie. I know they haven't had a very good job of making good stuff, but we'll see. Moving on.
They warned us that something was coming.
If there is ever an end in this forever war, it will be because of you and your strong right hand.
I'm on your side!
Sorry!
April 12th, we got Hellboy, directed by Neil Marshall, who's done a lot more in entertainment than you might recognize. He's done the Netflix Lost in Space TV show, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite Netflix originals. It is really, really good. It's TV-14, really went under the radar. Not a lot of people talked about it. It's worth checking out. I highly recommend that, but that's not about that. Anyway, he's also done The Descent and Doomsday, and a little TV show called Hannibal, which is basically about a guy that, eats people, which is probably why it got canceled. But everybody that watched it seemed to really like it, so it got some good reviews despite its getting canceling, so shame. But this movie stars David Harbour, the sheriff in Stranger Things. I don't know if you recall that gentleman. He's done a pretty good job for himself getting yoked up for this movie. He looks like a friggin' beast, okay, which is interesting because he plays a demon. So he plays this really big demon that's gonna save the world. He also stars Mia Jovovich, whom you might recall did like every single Resident Evil movie, and did Fifth Element, which is one of my favorite roles that Gary Oldman's ever been cast in. Good film, it's fun, it's way out of this world, it's crazy, which is not a pun, because it is in outer space. But definitely check that one out if you haven't. And it also stars Ian McShane, who's done a lot of TV, a lot of noteworthy TV like Deadwood and American Gods, and I always remember him from Hot Rod. He's played the dad in Hot Rod, and he really made me laugh in it, and I'm really excited to see him play in this film. Basically, it's about this demon, Hellboy, who's stuck between, hell and the human world, and he really wants to do good, and so he ends up sawing off his horns and becoming like a total, superhero dude. Anti-hero, I guess, because he isn't really nice. He's a demon. What do you expect? And he kicks some major butt, saves the world from a sorceress. Basically, that's going to be the gist of the film. It's going to be rated R, so I would not recommend this for the youngsters, but maybe a fun date night movie if you and your wife are looking for a good popcorn flick to go, see things blow up and watch David Harbour do something other than be the sheriff of Hawkins, Indiana. So, check it out, April 12th. It's sure to be great.
Can I ask you a question, Father? Do you know anything about La Llorona?
The weeping woman.
It was a folktale.
To some.
April 19th, we have The Curse of La Llorona. Most horror movies I kind of skim over. I don't really think they're really worth paying attention to. But this one is in particularly because it is produced by the same people that did The Conjuring 1 and The Conjuring 2. Both of which are literally my favorite horror movies in the entire horror genre. I love them so much, I went back and watched them. I own one of them. I bought it with money. And it is so worth watching over and over and over again. Maybe at least once or twice every few years. It is directed by Michael Chavez, who hasn't really done a whole lot of super noteworthy things. The last thing he's really done was a movie called The Circle, which I've never heard of before, and a TV show on Nickelodeon called Chase Champion. Also, never heard of. I don't have access to a lot of Nickelodeon shows, and nor would I let my kids watch it. It's the home of SpongeBob SquarePants, which I am convinced is the downfall of humankind. It stars Linda Cardellini, who is probably most known for her work in Brokeback Mountain. I know what you're thinking. It is still a movie, and it still exists, and she played in it. She also starred in Scooby-Doo in the 2002 version, which I guess is also a thing that she did. Cool. It also stars Raymond Cruz, who played what I would mostly associate him with is played Tuco in Breaking Bad, and he also played in Training Day. So he's really akin to doing a lot of drug dealer stuff. So it's gonna be great seeing him play an actual nice guy in this movie. I can't wait to see what he does. I think he's gonna be a super cool dude. And it also stars Patricia Velasquez, who she mostly played in The Mummy and The Mummy Returns. She played the Pharaoh's wife that tries to bring him back from the dead. And so you got a pretty cool cast there, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I honestly am just excited to see some stuff that's akin to the Conjuring movies because I can't get enough of that. Like the art, the way it's shot, the way it feels, the terror is good. And most of the time, they have really good endings. And they'll make you tear up in a good way. So check it out. Coming in April, it's gonna be awesome.
God, seems like 1,000 years ago. I fought my way out of that cave, became Iron Man. Realized I loved you. I know I said no more surprises, but I was really hoping to pull off one last one.
Last, but certainly not least, the one movie everybody is most excited for in April, at least if you've been following the Avengers films or the Marvel films, is Avengers Endgame. Directed once again by the amazing Russo brothers, crazy talented gentlemen. They did Civil War, they did Avengers Infinity War, and they did Captain America Winter Soldier. It stars virtually everybody from the original films. All these people here, okay? I'm just gonna let that run. And it's gonna be so cool. I cannot explain to you how excited I am. I know it's gonna be I know it's probably gonna be overhyped, and I don't care, because I know exactly what I'm getting myself into. It's a Marvel film, where the good guys win, the bad guys lose, the action is awesome, and the humor is pretty good, kinda sometimes. I mean, let's be real, Captain Marvel didn't have the best humor in it, but it is what it is. So, check it out. April 25th, 26th, that weekend, and it's gonna be so good. So those are all the movies coming to you in April. I told you at the beginning of the show, it's gonna be a good month. We got a lot of cool stuff. I'm super excited to spend all my money going to the movies every single weekend this month. And yeah, you guys let us know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe to this video if you thought it was good. If you didn't like it, then maybe just don't give it a thumbs down. Maybe just move on to another film that you like or something. But But I hope you guys have a good month, and be sure to pay attention to the podcast. We got other audio content coming to you that way. And until then, take it easy.